All right. Let's see here. Getting all set up here, folks. We're going live here in just a few moments. And kind of rushing around today. So let me get this all set up. And then we'll begin. Hope everyone has had a good week. All right, 3 more shares to go. Almost ready, folks. Almost ready. We are getting there. One more to go. I like to jump on here a little beforehand. I just did not get a chance to do that today. Looks like we are set. All right. I think we are. All right, here we go. Hey everybody, this is Brian Hogue. Welcome to the Chiller Night Live pre-show. We're from 8 p.m. until about a minute or two shy of 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll talk to you good folks about the upcoming Chiller Night television programming on Stream TV, which will begin at 9 p.m. And we'll just chat about anything you want to chat about. Horror, science fiction related, paranormal. You throw it my way and we'll chat about that. All right. I didn't get time to write down any notes or anything for tonight. I've been really busy with this haunted house I've been working on, but that's okay. That's all right. Let's see. All right. Let me jump on here and open up the chat page. You have to excuse me. I'm running a bit tight tonight on my timing. Good evening. All right, there we go. My first chat of the night, at least for me. You guys are probably already joining in, but let's see here. What do we got? Got nothing, but I switched over to Brad. It's the Chiller Night pre-show of Brian Hogue, starring Brian Hogue. Now here's Brian. What's on tonight, Brian? All right, I'll show you. And Clayton Boudin writes, good evening. Good evening, Brad and Clayton. And Treese writes, hey, everyone. Well, hey, Treese, thanks for joining. All right, the schedule for tonight is... Bam! Look at that. Okay, tonight, August 15th on Stream TV at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Chiller Night Theater. The movie is Silent Night, Bloody Night. 11 p.m. Chiller Chat. My guest is Doc Dread. Doc, if you're on here, well, you're going to be on here again at 11 p.m. on Stream TV. 11:30, Chiller Night Theater. The movie is Plan 9 from Outer Space. 1:30 a.m. Chiller Chat. My guest is Carrie Haggard. And 2 a.m., Chiller Night Theater. The movie is House on Haunted Hill. All right, there you have it. Let me see if my chat's... Aha! Here we go. Raymond says, hi, Brian. Hey, Raymond. And Mugen en Español writes, me gusta su canal. Okay, I'm afraid I don't, gusta, don't, gusta, yeah, I'm not sure what that says, but thanks for joining us nonetheless. Brian Ivers writes, hello all. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. Raymond says, hi, Glam and Tom. And hello, Glam and Tom. And Emmanuel, hello, Jens. Hey, Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. All right, now, we went over the schedule. I thought this was really cool. I got a very unexpected gift today in the mail. This right here. This is really, really super cool. This is actually like, I was very surprised to get this. It's from Tom Paisley. So thank you, Tom. This is really, really super nice. It's of the mummy. It says, "It comes to life." Karloff the Uncanny in the Mummy. This is really, really nice. So thank you very much, Tom. And it came with this letter with the scorpion sealed like in the wax. I'll show you a closer picture there. Look at that. That's pretty neat. And then the letter itself. It says, Valley of the Kings, September 1921. Brian went on an archaeological dig in my basement and dug this up. It spoke your name. The curse is yours. A friend. Death, eternal punishment for anyone who opens this box. Well, that's just a chance I was willing to take, by golly. But that is super cool. Thank you, Tom. That was really, I was totally not expecting that. So that was really, really cool. Thank you. And oh, Mugen says, I like your channel. That's what that said. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Tree says, what a great lineup for tonight. I agree. And then Mugen, I hope I'm saying that right. Mugen? I see movie terror all nights with popcorn. So, oh yes, this is the perfect night for it. Saturday night, a good night for the chiller movies with your popcorn and snacks, and for maybe a pizza, Vicelli's Pizza if you're in the area. So, Raymond says, who is the woman, and does the mummy sing? The mummy does not sing, not that I'm aware of. So that was look at this. I got my mummy collection out here. So that was Zita I wonder if I'm saying her name right. Joanne? Zita Joanne? She was kind of an interesting actress back in the day, back in the 20s, very much into very interested in mysticism and the occult and stuff like that. So she was kind of a unique figure back in the day. That is the old VHS. For those of you old enough to remember those, it's like the 8-track of the mute. Well, even longer ago than the old cassettes. You used to put these in something called a VCR. Remember those? This is the Mummy's Hand. I'm celebrating mummies tonight. You know, from Tom's gift has inspired me to make this a Mummy's Night. I have my Universal Monsters mug, which has a mummy on there. I have my Universal shirt, has a mummy on there somewhere, I'm sure. Aha, right there. And then I showed you the Boris Karloff VHS, of course, the original Mummy movie. And this one here is called The Mummy's Hand. This was with Tom Tyler. I don't know if any of you ever saw this before. It's actually worth seeing. It is kind of the kickoff to the Lon Chaney movies, like The Mummy's Ghost, The Mummy's Curse, and the movies that Lon Chaney Jr. did with Karis the Mummy. So pretty neat. Boris Karloff he played Imhotep, and then we switched to Karis. But neat thing about the Mummy's Hand, and then I'll resume with the comments there, is Tom Tyler. I mentioned this before. He used to play in like westerns and stuff like that, but he played the Mummy in this because they wanted a large, imposing man to fit the costume. And a neat thing about this is they blacken the eyes in post production so that the mummy's eyes are actually like they're animated black to make it look more dead and creepy. And it did turn out that way. It was a neat look. And the mummy's ghost, you know, Lon Chaney Jr. He's always got the arm wrapped up and the eye missing or patched up. Neat movies. Any old school horror movie fans like those? Do tell. But thanks again, Tom. That was completely unexpected, and that was a very, very nice gift. And let's see. Ava says, I burnt sage. right. Whoever opens this box. Right. So, thank you, Ava. So now we have positive vibes. We weren't taking any chances. Jason says, just wanted to say hello. I have company tonight. Have a great show. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate you stopping in and joining us for a few moments. Brad says, just letting you know that my wife's brother, Zach, married his now wife, Jill. Zach and Jill. The wedding was beautiful last Saturday, and so were the wedding pictures. That's cool. That's right. I remember you telling me that you were going to the wedding, so I hope they had a great wedding. Good to hear. Dale says hi. Hey, Dale. We'll be doing the movie here announcement here pretty quick, Dale. Bob says, hi. Hey, everybody. Hey, Bob. Thanks for joining us. Gwen says, hi, Glam Fangs. James says, hi. Cassandra, hi, everybody. All right. Many salutations are being exchanged. Kevin says, hi, Brian. Kevin here. I am watching my late night horror classics. Great. Neat lineup. You sent that to me earlier, and that was a pretty cool little lineup there. Glenn says, Chiller Night, the best channel on YouTube. Oh, wow, thank you. I like the ancient movies of terror. And then, unfortunately, I can't, I will chop this up terribly, if I try to read the Spanish on here, but thank you. Carrie says, I'm what? Sleepy? Is that sleepy? What is that? I'm blank? Well, Carrie, we're just glad you're here, whatever you are. And so, Kevin says, Tom Tyler played Captain Marvel in the 40s. It was a serial. I actually have that. I have that serial. And that was, kind of the neat thing about that serial, too. Captain Marvel, superhero. He was, like, killing these gangsters. One time he picked up, a car engine and heaved it at a guy and crushed him. I think he threw another guy off a building. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of neat to see him, one of the guys was running away from him, and he was having none of that, I'll tell you. So stopped the guy dead in his tracks. I think dead literally. But they were a lot of fun watching that stuff back then. That's right. Yeah, Tom Tyler did play Captain Marvel, and I have those. I have the VHS. Do I have the DVD? I don't know. I know I have the VHS set, though, of that and the original Superman adventures. So love those old time serials. Raymond says, I love the Mummy movies with Karloff. Yes. Clayton says, thank you, Brian. Oh. That was really cool. Super, super cool. Al says, hi, Cassandra. Let's see. Brayman says, be sure they don't go up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Right. It was Zach and Jill. So, that was, that's cool. Hope they had a great wedding there, Brad. Send them my congratulations, All right, so. Cassandra says, I'm going to be watching the great classic Ghost and Mr. Chicken tomorrow. Just got in the mail. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy. Wow, I haven't seen that one since I was a kid, I think. All right, Dale, I saw you on here earlier, so if you are ready, let's announce the. Let me set this up first. For those who are new here, on Facebook, if you have a Facebook account, those of you on YouTube who are watching, maybe you're not aware of this, but we have every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a Chiller Night Facebook group page. Okay, you just join, request to become a member. You can become a member, and you can join in with the watch parties or posting things throughout the week. But we have a watch party every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Dale, whenever you are ready, I will put up the movie for this Thursday night. So. All right, and then in the meantime, let's see. John says, "Greetings, running late. Captain Marvel from the series didn't play." No, he didn't. No, not at all. He was he was pretty brutal. Yeah. Raymond says, "Don Knotts is funny in Mr. Chicken." Yeah. Wow. Again, I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Wow, the memories. Oh, Knotts, said, "Yep, I knew what you meant." Brad says, "Just letting you know that I won't be here next week. It's WWE SummerSlam weekend. WWE NXT TakeOver 30 is next Saturday." All right. Well, those sounds like a good time, and that's cool. No, 30 is next Saturday. Yep. Not a problem, Brad. I just appreciate when you do show up. So you and everybody else, thank you for once again joining us. And I also want to make mention of the. Yukin says, "Chiller Night, what's your favorite scary movie?" My favorite scary movie, I guess I would have to say it goes back to the old Universals. I'm going to say it's a toss-up between Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein. It's probably going to be The Bride of Frankenstein. As far as like scary, no, but that's my favorite nostalgic horror movie. As far as that's a really tough one. It's a good question, but it's a tough one to answer. I think because I love The Curse of the Werewolf by Hammer Horror. I love Prince of Darkness by John Carpenter. That one really stands out as one of my favorites as well. So there are a few of my favorites. How about you guys? Any favorites? And Dale, if you're on here, just holler out the name of the movie for this coming Thursday, and we'll slap that right on there for everybody to see. But in the meantime, yeah, how about you guys? Do you have any? What's your favorite scary movies? But I'd have to say those are mine. At least those are probably the top three that come to mind. I have so many. It's hard to narrow them down, but since those were like the first three that popped up in my head, I'll throw them out your way. Are we? Okay, Bob says Dracula versus the Werewolf is a favorite of mine. All right, Dracula versus the Werewolf. All right. Cool. Did we? Dale, are you still on here? Dale, somebody get Dale. Where are you at? Kevin Malone says, "I love the TV miniseries of Salem's Lot." Now, see, you got me there because I didn't even know that they had a miniseries of Salem's Lot. I just knew the movies. What Salem's Lot? I remember that scared me a lot when I was a kid. And then what was it? Return to Salem's Lot. I never actually even saw that one, but I saw the first one. Brad says, "Speaking of pro wrestling, AEW Wrestling Dynamite is on a special day and time on next Saturday at 6:05 p.m. on TNT. 6:05 p.m. Well, that's a standout time for a lot of the old school wrestling fans, myself included. When I was growing up, it was always on at 6:05 p.m. So that's What are they doing that just as a nod to the days of old with the old Georgia Championship Wrestling? Brad says, "Does that sound familiar, Brian?" It sure does. John says, "Hammer's Curse of Frankenstein and Horror of Dracula are my favorites." Yeah, I love the Universal and the Hammer movies. Those are I enjoy so much watching those. David said his favorite is House of Dark Shadows. Cool, very cool. I wanted to mention Chop Block TV. You can see their logo here right in front of the and on the other side of the mummy. Chop Block TV. If you get a chance, check them out. They also have the Roku channel, Chop Block TV's Roku channel, and Paranormal Warehouse at paranormalwarehouse.com. And also Deadbolt. Check them out on Facebook as well. Um, Kevin says, remember Zoltan, Hound of Dracula? I don't know of that one off the top of my head, Kevin. Zoltan, Hound of Dracula. What was that? Was that a... Who made that one? I'll wait for your response there. Did we lose Dale? Let's see. Or maybe Dale already mentioned this and I missed it. And if that's the case, sorry. Cassandra says, my favorite is The Wolfman, followed by Curse of the Werewolf. Good movies. Very good movies. All right, well, I will, I'm not sure if Dale had to step out or step away from a screen, but I will announce the movie for this Thursday. All right, folks, are you feeling it? Are you, I keep thinking Dale's going to pop up here. Okay, here we go. The movie for Thursday night, this coming Thursday, on the Chiller Night Facebook group page is The Changeling. There you have it. It's going to be The Changeling from 1980. I think 1980 is the year for this movie. So, if you want to watch The Changeling in the Chiller Night Facebook group page, become a member and enjoy watching that with like-minded chiller maniacs and just have a good time. It's a good time. I unfortunately wasn't able to join in on Thursday night. I've been working on this haunted house that's taking up quite a bit of my time, so I'm not able to join in on Thursdays, unfortunately, and it's going to be like that for a while. So, but come on out and you know, support Dale. He's recently taken on taken on that showing the watch party, the main watch party of the week. Any of the members can have watch parties, but on Thursday night, that's kind of like the weekly one that we're all aware of. So the scheduled one. So, all right, well, Dale, wherever you are. All right, so here we go. The Changeling it is. So I hope everybody can join us. Let's see. Brad says they're trying to compete with WWE and NXT TakeOver 30 for next Saturday. All right. Okay. And then Yugen says, what is your favorite genre of bull? Zombies, werewolf, vampires, mummies, serial killers, or aliens? I'm going to have to say, I know my other favorite movies were, involving like, werewolves or Frankenstein. But my favorite type of movie, like the ones I can sit in and I find a lot of enjoyment with, especially with the series. I think that was part of the question, or no, it wasn't. But I love zombies. Zombies. I don't like. I tell you, I don't like the fast running ones. Like somebody, a rabid, psychotic person chasing you. To me, that's more of a I don't know, a rabid type of crazy person. Whether they're reanimated or not. To me, the zombie, the like the Walking Dead, the Romero zombies. The slow lumbering. They're probably very easy to get around, or probably push over, zombie tipping, and take off. But the scary thing was always the idea of the dead coming up out of the ground and en masse. And that to me was it's always been like that very nightmarish apocalyptic scenario. And so, to me that's probably, when it comes to it, the zombie to me is probably the most one of the most scary monsters. Again, not when you're up against one or two of them, not a problem. But it's always been this idea that horde, that a percentage of Earth's population is turning, and now they're coming after you, and they're eating everyone. I don't know. To me, that's a frightening concept. Had many nightmares. Maybe not many, but I've had several nightmares to where that was something I was glad to wake up from. Raymond says, support Dale. He shows good movies. Yes, he does. Those are really, really good picks, Dale. There's Dale. Good stuff, he says. Dale, we had we had the announcement, but yes, Dale. Once again, thank you, Dale, for taking over the Thursday nights. I don't know if you were here, but if you had to step away, but I was asking you, but we did put the movie up there, The Changeling. But that's what we did, and Dale is taking over that. Yeah, he's had some really, really interesting movies in about the last 3 or 4 weeks that he's been doing this. So, and then John says, "Oh, Mugen, I don't know if I'm even saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Sorry, my English is not good. Your English is fine. It is good. It is good. I don't know Spanish. I know a little bit of Portuguese, but not not enough to where I remember any of it now. But no, don't apologize. Just the fact that you're on here and joining us, don't worry about that at all. You know more English than I know of Spanish, so you're way ahead of me. John says, speaking of the haunted house, I see your latest update on Facebook. Jack Shadow builds his nightmare house. Yeah, I'm working away on that thing. Oh, waking up sore, and been tired, kind of burning the candles at both ends again. It seems, but that's okay. I love doing this stuff, or I wouldn't do it. But yeah, back at it. Al says, I love werewolves, zombies, and vampire movies. Yeah, those are all good ones. Raymond says, white zombie slowness. White zombie slowness. Bob says, for me, the slow-moving, unstoppable, relentless, eternally ravenous zombie is terrifying. Yes, well, it's quite descriptive. Very, very frightening. I know, it is a, there's, in vampires and werewolves, or at least I'll put it this way, in Frankenstein and the werewolf monster, there's a pathos. You can have some sympathy for those monsters because Frankenstein's monster didn't he didn't ask for that. He was just made into this thing that it didn't work out right and became this creature. It wasn't any of his fault, and so you feel sorry for him. It was actually the villagers who were the ones who were so not understanding and hateful, and made him even more so. The werewolf, again, at least in the Wolfman, for example, a lot of the times the hero, or turns into the werewolf. Lon Chaney Jr. He was fighting off a wolf who was killing a victim, so he went to go protect this woman, and in turn he became bit. And so again, out of no fault of his own, as far as like he wasn't in a bad person, wasn't evil in any way. A vampire, to me they're evil, but I have seen shows to where this poor person was bitten, and we're supposed to have some type of sympathetic connection to them. I'm not buying it. If you're a vampire, you're a vampire, but the zombie, there's nothing relatable. There's nothing relatable between the human and that zombie. That is not in any way a person. There's nothing remnants. There's no remnants of that person's, except for in Day of the Dead, Bob the zombie. But you know what I'm saying. There's no emotional attachment whatsoever that you can have with these things. Um, at least overall. You know what I mean? Like the scene from The Walking Dead. I thought it was so well done. You had Morgan in the house, and you had his wife come up, and she's turning that doorknob, like in The Last Man on Earth. That scene there. But there's Morgan. What a performance that guy was doing, because of that was his wife. But it turns out she later killed their son. She didn't know what she was doing. There's no connection there. And with the other monsters, you can get that. You can have some type of connection. I'm rambling, but that's my thought on it. That's what makes them a monster, though. A true monster, the zombie. So, anyhow, let's see. Kevin says, Brian sent you the trailer of Zoltan. Okay. Hound of Dracula on Messenger. Enjoy. Thank you, Kevin. I'll have to check that out. Clayton says, the house that Jack built. Yes, quite literally. Brad says, speaking of the haunted house, you need to have a big billboard going east to I-80, going before Route 8 for the Harrisville Haunted House for the month of October. How's that sound, Brian? Sounds good. But, it's... that I don't know if I would have the time or the resources this year to pull that off, because I didn't know up until very, very recently to whether I was going to be able to actually have this due to all the craziness is going on. So, but that's a neat idea. I'd be down with that. John says, speaking of zombies, a remake of Jesus, Jacuse, has a scene where the war dead arise from their graves, and the director used actual wounded war veterans to portray the zombies. Oh, I'm not familiar with that movie, but that sounds wow. A lot of work went into doing that scene, I bet. Brad says Stream TV should help you with that. Well, they are. They're sponsoring. They're sponsoring this year, and they're doing a lot with helping to promote it. So of that, I am greatly appreciative. And I'll mention Vicelli Pizza once again. Vicelli Pizza from Butler is sponsoring the Harrisville Haunted House, and so is Stream TV. You see the logo up here on Chiller Night. Stream TV and Vicelli Pizza. So I want to do a shout out to those folks for helping us out. And then Brad says, don't forget Vicelli Pizza on that billboard with it. Oh, there we go. Now all the promotional material will have Vicelli Pizza and Stream TV's information on them. So, but yes, we cannot forget Vicelli's. Cassandra says, Return of Dracula 1958 is unsettling. Also, Carnival of Souls is really creepy. Yes. Yeah. Barry says, love Vicelli's when I lived in PA. Miss it in Texas. Ah. Yeah, they have good pizza. And Bob says, if you love zombies, read World War Z. The movie had nothing to do with the book. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I saw the movie, but I didn't read the book. I don't read as much these days as I used to. I used to be an avid reader. I used to have so many books that I loved. I just loved it, but I just don't find the time I guess that's what it comes down to, finding the time. If I really wanted to, I suppose I could, but I just feel like I'm so like I'm sure all of us feel that way. So I wish I would set more time aside to actually read like I used to. And then Kevin says zombie is really a dead person brought back to life from a witch or voodoo. Right, right. With the I guess the proper definition of the zombie, like in the movie, like White Zombie, of course. Um, but it has been, kind of in movie history, kind of like evolved into the George Romero ghoul, to where it's the reanimated dead coming back, feeding on the flesh of the living. Very scary and disturbing, concept if you think about it. I was talking to John Russo, who co-wrote Night of the Living Dead, and he said that that was actually his idea. He said that George Romero, when they were coming up with the idea, it was the creature or the adversary, uh, this thing taking over or coming. It was actually to surround the house was kind of an unknown at the time, and George kind of left it at the time. He was leaving it kind of open. There was even kind of a hint at a maybe an alien creature, but the idea evolved into the idea of the recently dead coming back to life, coming back to move around and eat people. So John Russo says that was his idea. So that's kind of neat. That's the way it happened, and that's pretty cool. And then PK Lynch says, "Hi Jack, Brian, how are you? It's me, Paul, from a beer run." Oh, all right, cool. You got your beer, and maybe you can get some pizza or whatever you fancy for the night, and settle in for a good chiller movie. Coming up here in about 20 minutes. Fastest hour of the weeks, folks. for me. David says, "Glad we can be part of it again." Oh, David, yeah. Hey, thanks for all the support you've given us. David Long, of course, most of you, if not all, know that David is the one who is head of the Vicelli Pizza and Butler and the manager there, and he has been super supportive of the haunted house and of course of the Chiller Night live pre-shows or pre-show, not the pre-show, but the Friday Night Frights of Jack Shadow, the live Chiller Night theaters we've done last year and this year. So thank you very much, David. And then Cassandra says, if the haunted house is a non-profit or not-for-profit, you might be able to get free billboard. Yep. Yeah, I think there are some exceptions there. Not only with that, but with like advertising as well. So, but this is for profit. But there are parts of it to go to like to go to the borough, for example, and to be paying the actors and so forth. Bob says, I use audiobooks as I can work, drive, whatever, and still get through my books. It's a good idea. Audible is pretty awesome, just my opinion. No, that's actually that probably is a pretty good solution, you know. Yeah, I think I ought to check that out. I actually do have a couple books in my phone, audio, so that might be what I need to do, get more of those. Cassandra says Walmart has a Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet for sale. $20. He talks and walks. All right, that's cool. Wonder what made him bring Robbie the Robot. That's pretty neat. Kevin says, mate, what is your favorite classic horror creature? Oh, Kevin, I'd have to say classic horror creature, probably. I'm going to say the werewolf. I'm going to say the werewolf was my favorite, just because when I was a kid, that to me, that I don't know, there was something very, scary. I guess they're all scary, but to me, that was the most primal something you can, as a human, I think can relate to because of I don't know, pick like a panther or a grizzly bear or something that could, tear into you and rip you open. And that is something that in real life we can relate to, at least the fear of that. That's a very primal, and, throughout evolution, that's been instilled in us as, something ripping and grabbing and pulling you apart and eating, devouring you. And to me, I guess that I suppose that's why a werewolf is one of my favorite as far as the classic monsters. Um, John says the movie is Jacques. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sounds like a French word or title, which was a remake of the 1919 silent movie. The remake was released in 1938. Wow, I have never heard of that, John. Thanks for sharing that. I was unaware of that. That's pretty neat. I've never heard of that. I thought I've heard of them all too. At least as far as the silence. Al says replying to Cassandra. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Let's see. That is very cool. The airlift is very cool. P.K. Lynch. I might have missed something there. And then Brad says, Rob the Robot from the original Nintendo? No, that's from the Forbidden Planet. Unless they had him as a character on Nintendo. I could be wrong there. I don't know. I never had Nintendo. And then Kevin says, my favorite horror creature is the vampire Dracula. All right. Good pick. Very good pick. I don't know. I've always, of course, the monsters that are on my shirt. The classic. Frankenstein's monster. What a creepy idea! Just that concept. We've been so conditioned with the Boris Karloff idea of that. In countless movies throughout the decades and decades of Frankenstein's monster. But if you really think about it, the idea of piecing together body parts and then, animating this thing, to me, that's a very disturbing thought. That Boris Karloff, he gave that creature such a a personality where you felt sorry. I mean, legitimately sorry for this thing, particularly in The Bride of Frankenstein. You see this thing going through the suffering and. And so there's Frankenstein, but Dracula, like Kevin mentioned, the vampire. I think of Bela Lugosi. I think of Christopher Lee, and those guys had no problem. They had no soul. They had no heart, no soul, no heart. Well, something to stick a stake through. But I mean, as far as like he had no problem killing you, and you were nothing to them. There was no sympathy for these vampires, like the ones in Salem's Lot, for example, or was it 30 Days of Night or something like that. I'm trying to remember the title. Those vampires there were just brutal, and I love seeing that. I love seeing the vampire as the monster, and I really don't like to see the vampire as a sympathetic creature of misfortune. Personally, I think the werewolf can fall into that category, but as far as a vampire, that thing is total evil. At least that makes it more fun for me to think of it that way. Bob says werewolves changing from person to monster is one of the hardest special effects to do. So I read. Yeah. What a neat attempt though in the '80s with the American Werewolf in London. And the Thriller, video with the bladder effects and the reversing of the hair, instead of it coming out, they pulling the hair back in and then reversing the film. Just the elongating the ears and snout. I love stuff like that, and I love the practical effects of that. But of course, with the CGI, they can do so much with it now. You know, and I hate to sound like the old timer. Oh, that new stuff is, you know. But I will give compliments where it's due. Like the remake of The Wolfman. I forget what year that came out. Was it 2010? I'm going to guess and say that. I really don't know. But that to me, I love that. I love that remake, and I thought they did a very good job. You know, with you know, changing into the werewolf, and I thought that the story was well done, and the mood, the atmosphere was very well done. 8:47. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see where are we at here. Mugen says, "Have you seen El Santo de Plata versus the Mummies?" I actually have seen some of the. I haven't seen the one where they fought the mummy, but with vampires. He was fighting a bunch of vampires, bunch of vampire women. Um, and that was really cool. I've seen some of those. I've seen some of those with El Santo. This is a classic Mexican movie of terror. Yeah, he's done a lot of those. He was kind of like, kind of reminded me of a Batman figure, a Batman type of character. Um, I've enjoyed the ones that I've seen. Brad says, "Have you ever liked Godzilla, Brian?" Oh, have I ever liked Godzilla? I've loved Godzilla movies. I've loved them since I was a kid. Yeah, still do. Um, yeah, those are great. I wish I could play Godzilla movies. I really do. I'd be playing those all the time. Um, PK says, "Karloff the best. I will. You won't get an argument from me." And then Kevin says, "Our good friend Donald F. Glute loves and very big fan of Frankenstein." I know, of course. And I had him on the show just not too long ago. Well, within this year, I think it was back in February, where he was talking about his movie Tales of Frankenstein. And so, yeah, I know that. And he's wrote a lot of stories, you know, in different various comics and stuff about Frankenstein monster. So, yeah, he's a big Frankenstein fan. And then Raymond says, "Mugen, I enjoyed Santo versus the Vampire Women. That was it. I will have to find the one with the mummies." Yeah, those are good. You know what? Maybe if I can find those, and if they're public domain, I would play those on Chiller Night Theater. It seems to me, as I'm saying that years ago, I've played. I've played. I think that one with the vamp against the vampire woman. I think I did play that on Sleepy Hollow Theater years ago, on one of the shows that Jack Shadow hosted, and we did that because I had my it was one of those episodes because I love the masked wrestler idea and trying to think if it was the night I had the masked superstar on. But that was a good movie. It was a very good movie. Very entertaining. Cassandra says, "Vampires don't sparkle." I agree. And they have no souls. They are evil. They are evil. Yes, they are. There's no trying to humanize a vampire. They're dead and they're evil and they're just gonna get you. And there's none of this back and forth in their head. You know, what's the right thing to do here? No, there's none of that. I agree. um, let's see. I'm catching up here. Raymond says, "Wasn't Santo a wrestler?" Yes. Yes, he was. And he and the Blue Devil, if I'm remembering his name right, Mil Mascaris, they were making these movies, and they were really, it was like they're superheroes, or like a James Bond spy superhero type, you know. Uh, you know, I think it's really cool, you know, because in the world of wrestling, you know, which, as many of you may know, was another one of my ventures in life. I owned Dark Horse Championship Wrestling, and I had my own wrestling show. And to me, I encouraged, you know, mass wrestlers in the lineup, and I got some really some good ones along the years. But I don't know. To me, growing up watching wrestling, not so much now, but at least for me, those guys were the superheroes and villains, you know, where you can't really see them out battling around this, you know, skyscrapers of New York, the skyline of our metropolitan cities, but they can do it in the squared circle, by golly. And I don't know. To me, it was always just a lot of fun watching this, and they were the closest thing to superheroes, at least to a kid's mind. I know there's, you know, the police and military. That's real life stuff. But I mean, it's your fantasy and what you're actually seeing on TV. That they came pretty close, at least to the 11-year-old Brian. Um, there's a lot of comments here. Thank you so much for all this participation. I'll try to catch up. It's 8:52. And if I'm missing your comment, I apologize, but I'm trying to get caught up. There's so many comments. So let's see. David said, or Barry says, thanks for joining us, Barry. American Werewolf in London and The Howling were breakthroughs in the conversion process. Yeah, they were really interesting. And then I think we were talking about this last week with that series Werewolf. Didn't they try? Weren't they using some of that too? Because that was really kind of a big thing at that time. You saw this, like The Howling, the American Werewolf in London, the Thriller video. They were all doing this new, you know, effect with the bladder effects underneath the prosthetics. We did this at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh when we were working on making like special effects, and it was like you would make the what they call the bladder. You're making this out of a slush latex, and then you're putting that and pumping the air in, and that's causing, you know, the cheeks and the forehead to pulsate. It was really neat because at that time you hadn't seen that stuff before. So yeah, you're right. That was like a breakthrough effect. And then David said, with the limb transplants and medical technologies to bring people back from the dead, Frankenstein's creature may be plausible, at least in the future, which to me always brought about more of the fear into the Mary Shelley story. That's true. We are getting a little closer to that being a real possibility. Never know. And then Cassandra says, love the Wolfman remake. Great transformation scene. Yeah, I love it. Good. Like I said, I'm all about atmosphere. Really, really good atmosphere in that movie. Bob says, I like the classic vampire with the hypnotic gaze and the rules that they must be invited in and how the head vampire always has a familiar and so on. Yeah. Also, there's kind of a follow-up story of Salem's Lot called One for the Road. It's a very short story, but it's awesome and terrifying. We were talking, Bob was out with me a couple times this week we were working on the haunted house. He was talking about some of that, and that sounds really, some of what you were talking about is really interesting. I love this stuff with the vampires. Let's see. Tom says, yes, classic vampires are the best. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us tonight. And then PK Lynch says, Brian, old school film is the best. J.J. Abrams used old school technology when he did Trek and Star Wars. Yeah, that's true. He did as much practical effects as possible. You know, it was a nice blend of CGI, but yeah, you're right. He wanted a lot of the old school practical effects for those movies. Very cool. Let's see. Brad says 10 minutes until Chiller Night Theater. Have a Corona. Don't mind if I do. And let's see. Brad says, remember Madmar Wrestling in Titusville, PA? My dad and I went to one in November 2002. Yeah. Well, I was, you know, Aaron and Aaron Madden, Luscious Rocky Reynolds, and I, we actually my first wrestling show. He and I collaborated on with KICW, and then I later branched off on my own because our schedules were not conducive. But and then I made up Dark Horse Championship Wrestling. So I told him he had an open invitation to appear on Dark Horse Championship Wrestling. If we ever get that horse back up and running. PK says, everyone be safe and drink. All right. Sounds good. And then Brian says, what do we do in the shadows? What do we do in the shadows? Only the shadow knows. And then Cassandra says, no, throw this schedule up here. Find it. John Sotawell, George had soul and he could dance. I was still in and still am pink in the cheeks when I watch that movie. Too cute. Okay. Well, let me throw that schedule back up here. Okay, and just a few minutes, folks. 9 p.m. on Stream TV. Stream TV. You can find that at streammedia.tv. You can connect to their channel right on there. You can watch it right on their site, or you can connect to their Roku channel. That's my personal, preference. But watch it right on the computer, or you can watch it on your Roku device. At 9 p.m. Chiller Night Theater. The movie is Silent Night, Bloody Night. That was one of the live Chiller Night Theaters that we did earlier in the year. 11 p.m. Chiller Chat. My guest is Doc Dread. Doc! All right, sometimes Doc is on here. I haven't seen him tonight. And 11:30 p.m. Chiller Night Theater. The movie is Plan 9 from Outer Space. One of the most notable Ed Wood movies. 1:30 a.m. Chiller Chat. My guest is Kerry Haggard. He's going to be talking about his book Traveler, about the UFO crash in Aurora, Texas in the 1800s. 2 a.m. Chiller Night Theater. The movie is House on Haunted Hill, of course, with Vincent Price. Again, go to streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv, where you can go to Stream TV and watch Chiller Night Theater, and Chiller Chat episodes, my Chiller Night programming throughout the night. So, there you have it, folks. It is 8:59. Wow, there's so many comments. Thank you everybody for joining myself and other viewers here tonight. So it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. There's so many comments, so thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Have a good night. Have a good Chiller night. We'll see you next week.